What's up everybody? It's Izzy from PowerliftingToWin, and in this video I'm going to tell you the one dirty little secret that nobody wants you to know about programming. In all seriousness, I've been wanting to make this video for some time now because even though I spent months, literally months, reviewing various programs, different types of training organizations, and even analyzing a few different types of periodization schemes, the bottom line is that for most of you guys, this stuff amounts to hardly relevant minutia. That's right, I said it. Most of this programming talk for a lot of us out there is just mental masturbation. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of this video, we need to consider one cold, hard fact about programming. And here it is. There are champions and medal holders from every programming philosophy out there. Every single one. Even if you just consider the IPF and raw powerlifting, there are Shaco style athletes with medals. There are Westside style training athletes with medals. There are guys who do 5x5 with medals. There are guys who train each lift once per week with medals. There are even guys who, they train multiple times per day every single day who have medals. Look at the Japanese bench team. They train multiple times per day, they bench like 14 times a week. Or say the Norwegian powerlifting team, which now trains pretty much all three lifts 5 or 6 times per week, guys. So there's a million different ways to do all of this stuff. And instead of focusing on the differences, let's look at the singular commonality that all successful programs will have you do. And here it is, wait for it, it's that dirty little secret. If you want a successful program, you have to do more volume than you've ever done before. Yes, that is it. That's really the secret of programming, is that if you want to keep getting better, you have to do more work and harder work than you've ever done before. Now, I can hear some of you guys saying, duh, from all the way over here out in Washington. Now, if it's so obvious, why does it seem that so many of us have forgotten this simple fact? If you've heard of the 80-20 rule, the 80% of programming is literally just doing more work and harder work than you've done in your previous programs. Now, we all know that one bro at the gym who doesn't really know anything about training but is still brutally strong because he goes to the gym 5 or 6 days per week, and every time he goes in there, he hits it hard. Every single day he goes hard and he does a shitload of volume. And of course, maybe some of it is genetics, whatever, that's a cop-out. Obviously genetics matter, but the bottom line is that if you want to get better, you have to keep doing more volume. So I'm going to bust out my favorite analogy one more time, and that is the suntan analogy. I think it encapsulates how training works perfectly. So we all know that if you haven't been in the sun for a few months, like me, you're going to get lighter than you usually are. Now, we also all know that if you go out into the sun for a given amount of time, you're going to get a tan. If you go out in the sun for 5 minutes, you're going to get one level of tan. If you go out in the sun for 15 minutes, you're going to get a different level of tan. If you go out in the sun for an hour, you're going to get an entirely different level of tan from 15 minutes, right? Obvious. Well, here's the other part of that that's so important. The darker that you get, the longer you can stay in the sun. So that's how the cycle works. The more adapted you get, the longer you can expose yourself to the adaptive stimulus. And training really works the same way. That is, the more training you expose yourself to, the more training you're going to be able to do while still recovering. And that is really, really the biggest key to all programming. I don't care if you do block periodization, daily undulating periodization, linear periodization, conjugate periodization, don't care. The main thing that any coach is going to have you do, if he's good, is get you to work harder and do more volume. Your coach might like linear periodization. He might like block periodization. He might have you do a linear progression if you're a novice, who knows. But what he's going to do is he's going to get you to work harder and do more volume than you're used to doing. As a novice, that basically just means like how you are organizing, how many days per week that you train, really, how many sets and reps you're doing each workout. That's what programming is about at your level. Because again, you're just trying to figure out how you can do the most volume possible while still recovering. As an intermediate, what a coach is going to do is they're going to organize your training week so that you can recover throughout the week. And as an advanced lifter, what your coach is going to have you do is he's going to manipulate volume from week to week and block to block over, say, an 8 to 16 week training cycle or however long away your meet is. And that's really the key to all of this stuff. Instead of worrying when you're stalling about the name of the next trendy program that you're going to hop on, whether you're going to go on the rectangle program or the 3x7 program or 853 or whatever, who cares? What you really need to be doing is keeping track of things like your tonnage, the number of lifts performed, total volume, average intensity of your sets, and any other metric that can give you an idea of how much work you're doing and how hard that work is. So that when you stall, you can increase it. Because all that training is you're giving your body a stimulus, right? Something that it has to adapt to. And it's going to make that adaptation. That's the whole point of what it's doing, is training breaks your body down so your body builds itself back up, essentially to protect you from getting broken down again. So if you want to keep breaking your body down to keep building it back up, you have to give it a bigger stimulus over time. More work gets you more results. It's really that simple, guys. If you want to make optimal progress, just work harder, do more work, measure it so that you know what you're doing, and then add more. That's the one dirty little secret that coaches don't want you to know. So guys, I hope that video was helpful. Remember, at the end of the day, there's a million different programs out there. There's a million different ways to program, but the one thing they all have in common is that they don't work unless you do. So get your ass to work, do more than you have in the past, and you'll get better results than you have in the past. That's it. Peace out. As always, check out Powerlifting to Win for more great powerlifting information, and most importantly, have a nice day, my friends.